Toshio, welcome to Valencia. We are very happy you are with Orchestra Valencia this season, but first of all, we have to congratulate you for this great prize. You have been awarded in Spain for the Fronteras del Conocimiento, which is one of the most important prizes in Europe. I think you have been honored to be in a list of really great composers with a great personality and a style, and now becomes even greater with you. There is a time in life when you present, when you are young, yourself to the prizes, and there is a time in life when the prizes come to you after a life of achievements and creating a personality by your own. This year you become 70 years. What has changed between the Toshio Hosokawa when you were 20s, when you were presenting yourself to this kind of prizes, and this Toshio Hosokawa that now receives these important prizes?
It's a very difficult question. I myself don't know how I reacted. I never thought that about this prize, and I'm very honored, and because I know this prize, because when I lived in Wissenschaftskolleg together with Helmut Lachmann, he got this prize, and he went to the Bilbao to get to this prize ceremony, and at that time I lived together with him in this as artist residence in Berlin, and when he came back, he said, "I got the 40 euro." Oh, that's good. So, but I never thought that I would get that prize. So I'm very honored and surprised. So this about 50 years I composed, and beginning was a student, and I researched my roots, where is my roots, and started to study Japanese traditional music, and at the same time European avant-garde music. The both is my way to research and to find my own language. And I did a lot of things, and Japanese traditional music was always very, very important for me, but not this exotic mood of Japanese music to use, but more I want to find the substance of the Japanese traditional music. And I wrote some music, and now I don't think a lot about Japanese music, more free, and I don't want to compose with my ego, and I want to be free from my ego, and just to receive the stream of the music in the universe. I want to listen more, and just I want to receive what is there, what is energy, and I want to compose. This is very, very different, because my early pieces more, I want to do something. I want to make new Japanese music. This is very strong wish, but now I don't have not so much this research, and more I want to be free, and I just want to listen what I want to listen to. This is very different.
And also, apart from this important prize in Bilbao, there is another, we can say, prize also, that is, you have been composer in residence in Valencia. What does it mean to you to be composer in residence of an orchestra in Europe nowadays?
That I'm very happy. They can play not only one time my music, so then they can play better my music, and they know me personally. And this time, I think this second time to play my music, they played my violin concert, and I have a very good relationship with the orchestra people. They are very nice, and they play really wonderful. And Alexander Lippreich knew very well my music, and he conduct really very, very well. And I'm very, very happy as a composer residency in this Valencia orchestra.
We listened to it today, this morning in the rehearsals. That was really very, very good played, and you have fortune that the conductor of the Valencia Orchestra knows your music very well, knows you very well, and you have said that your violin concerto was played here. Today is a whole concert with Takemitsu and you. Did you take part in the decision of what pieces will be played? Was a thing of the orchestra? How did you decide the pieces they could be played by Hosokawa?
I think I talked with Alexander Lippreich, and we discussed what is a good, and we decided together.
Although your music has been played for many years in Europe, what do you think that the European players find more difficult? Probably not in terms of technique, because their technique in the orchestra used to be very good, but in terms of spirit and in terms of understanding the Japanese side of your music, what do you think is more difficult for the European musicians?
Very good European musician can understand immediately my music, and sometimes the problem is this silence. Silence is not the rest, but more, for me, is more density. Without this density, the sound doesn't exist. So this idea is sometimes difficult, but very good European musician can understand immediately without saying anything. So that also in Japan, also I have problem. Japanese musician can't understand. They used to play European classical music, and they didn't learn Japanese traditional music. They didn't know it. So this is difficulty is the same.
Because your music is very much related, you have said several times, to calligraphy, but calligraphy coming from a point in the air that is silence, and feeling this silence, this original primordial Japanese silence, feeling and dissolving again into silence. Do we have silence today in our societies, or it's being lost in so much noise and communications, and should we find more silence?
Yes, yes. But also in Tokyo, there's a lot of noise, but still we have something, this silence inside. Yeah, it comes maybe Buddhist meditation. We need to just silence and sit down and breathe very slowly. This kind of education, when we were a child, a little bit, we had that.
You have said now something very interesting, that is the Japanese orchestras sometimes had problems for understanding your Japanese side of music, and it's related. Even when you were young, you were fascinated by European music and avant-garde, and probably not paying so much attention like today to the Japanese music. Do you think that it's something that still happens with young Japanese musicians or composers, that could be paying more attention to the Western tradition, to their own roots?
Yes. Myself, when I came to Europe, I was 20 years old, and I didn't know well Japanese traditional music, but I listened to a lot because you know that my mother played Japanese instrument. But at that time, I thought this is so long, boring music, and I found it in Europe, outside. From outside Japan, I could listen Japanese music, but many Japanese musicians also today we don't know well about traditional music, but if they come outside Europe or America, they knew that they are not European musician. So we have find something different.
It is curious because many European composers, we talk about this today in the lunch with Jose Maria Sánchez Verdú, Hans Zender, or even John Cage or Helmut Lagemann are fascinated with Japanese music, with Japanese instruments like the show. It's curious how much sometimes from Europe we could be more interested than even people from Japan. And tonight's concert puts together your music and Toru Takemitsu's music, that was one of your masters. And as the years are passing in time, sometimes I think that you are coming closer to Takemitsu in some way. It could be that when you came to Europe, you probably moved apart. But which is your relation with Takemitsu's music and Takemitsu's ideas? Because he was a great thinker in the relations between West and East. His writings are really very, very clear and clever. How is it your relation with Takemitsu's figure?
Yeah, I started to compose that encounter of music of Takemitsu. So, when I was a child, but I 12 or 13 years old, I have listened to November Steps is a shakuhachi P band orchestra, just played by Seiji Ozawa at New York Philharmonic, and it was for me very shock. And since then, I loved Toru Takemitsu's music, and I knew him, and he's very kind, and he's one of my most important mentor. And his music became more soft, elegant. I prefer French music, but still I love his music and his thinking about this ma and the sound, silence is the most important thing.
But I have the sensation that since you have moved more in Japan more time, that you are going more into that elegance, serenity, more contemplative music. Do you feel it that way? You have said before that you are more open now to listening. How do you think that going back more time in Japan affects to you as a composer?
Well, I became old. It is the most important things, and I a little bit tired with European avant-garde music. So I loved very much, and you know my relationship with Helmut Lagemann and other many European composers. I have a lot of respect, but I must compose very different music, and I'm not avant-gardist in this scene, and I want to compose more meditative and silent music. It comes with my age.
But you are still not 70 until October. But and at the same time, there is something in your music which is related to the timbre, to the sound of the Japanese instrument. Although you have used shakuhachi and some of the koto and some other instruments, but do you feel now could be, I don't know, more necessity of working from time to time with Japanese proper instrument, or do you still prefer to use the Western orchestra for creating this evocation of the Japanese instruments?
The one thing is we have very few really good Japanese musicians for Japanese traditional instrument.
Mm-hmm.
Very few. And if you know Mayumi Miyata, she is the only one.
Yeah.
There's so many wonderful Japanese violin player, piano player, and orchestra player, but it's so difficult. So maybe shakuhachi player, only one or two other. So this is a big difficulty to find a really good musician to work together. And I want to compose more for Western instrument.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes I asked players of show, because I said before there are composers like Lachenmann or John Cage, which has composed for show, but the show players find very different the traditional way of playing the show and what these Western composers did. If you should compose more specifically for Japanese instrument, it would change very much your way of composing, or not?
You mean if I compose for the show?
Yeah, show, shakuhachi, vekoto.
Basically same.
Mm-hmm.
Basically same idea.
Mm-hmm.
This calligraphy and harmonic is.
Tonight's concert, we have your opera, The Maiden from the Sea, but in not a stage production, is if I'm not wrong, is your 7th opera. How can you present to us this opera?
It can very strong influence by no theater, Japanese no theater. Japanese no theater is a ghost story. The ghost cannot sleep well in the dead, this other world, and they come to this world and to sing, dance, talk about sadness. Then after this performance, they found the stillness in the soul, then can come back to the other world. This all no theater is like this, and this is what I want to do. And by no theater, there is one corridor. We say hashigakari. Hashi means bridge. Bridge. This between this world and other worlds, and the ghost protagonist comes through this bridge to this world. Then they did performance, then come back to this. And I want to make this musical bridge between this and other world. And this protagonist is a shaman, shamanism. And the shaman means connected this world and other world. And for me, this protagonist, Helen and Shizu, both ladies are shaman.
Because in your music and your ideas, the shamanism is becoming, you have told it, very important in the last years. This is a case, this opera of that?
Yes, I learned by no theater about this idea.
Okay, and now you are composing a new opera. I think the title would be Natasha. It is still the title. What do you tell to us? What can you introduce of this new opera?
This is a very actual problem. This opera is two refugees. Is young Japanese and young Ukrainian refugee. The two. And one Mephisto's enkel. How do you say enkel?
Comes into.
Yes, so Mephisto shows as 7 different hell.
Uh-huh.
And this hell is a reality, this world, with nature catastrophe, or the war, or money, and something, businessman, like this. And during, this is a kind of a little bit Dante's, this different hell. And in between, the both can find new love and new language. This is the story.
So, but at the same time, you are open to nature and you are open to listening. We could say, and probably this moment ask for that your music is also political, in the sense of the opera we will listen this tonight is terms of refugees. How much do you think the music now should reflect also politics in a world which is becoming quite crazy now?
Yes, crazy. I don't want to, as a propaganda or something like that. Just I have influenced by this reality. And my music is not political, but if I live here in this world, somehow I have to say something. That's why I compose this scene.
So in your opera you really say much more than something. It's a really very beautiful piece. We are very happy that you are here. We hope to meet you in Spain soon. You will be in Bilbao receiving the prize. And arigato. Thank you very much for...
Thank you very much.
Oh.
Thank you.